Donald Trump forgot his own son's age. Vivek Ramaswamy is okay with people being racist to his face. And I have some new polling data to break down and information about Biden's field offices. We have a lot to cover today. First, let's start off with the story about Donald Trump, who spent weeks begging Judge Juan Merchan to let him have the day off of court to attend Barron's graduation. Now, a lot of people are saying, you barely spend time with Barron anyways. You probably don't even know his age. They said that jokingly, but now we have confirmation. Donald Trump was doing an interview last night, and he said that Barron was 17 when Barron is actually 18 years old. Now, this could be a simple mistake, but at the same time, Donald Trump was whining and begging Judge Merchan to allow him to attend Barron's graduation, so this is not a good look. Let's roll the clip.
Because he's a very young guy, and he's graduating from high school this year. He's a very good student, very smart. And I think that's great. I think it's very interesting, too. But he's pretty young, I will say. He's 17. But if they can do that, I'm all for it. I think I'm all for it.
Now, Barron turned 18 multiple months back, so it's really not a good look, especially when you put so much weight in being able to attend his graduation, then you can't even name his age. But in some other Barron Trump news, this BBC article reads, Barron Trump, Donald Trump's youngest son, to play role at Republican convention. Donald Trump's youngest child, Barron Trump, is to enter the political limelight with a role at July's Republican National Convention. The 18-year-old has been named on a list of delegates at large to attend the event for the state of Florida. Previously, Barron's mother has kept him largely out of the public eye. The only child from their nearly two-decade marriage, Barron did not immediately move to Washington after his father's inauguration. The high school senior who graduates next week appears on the Florida delegate list with a number of the ex-president's close allies, according to NBC News. This list includes Barron's half-siblings Eric, Donald Jr., and Tiffany, but not Ivanka, who has publicly said she will not be a part of her father's re-election campaign. Leave a like on this video if I should try to set up a Barron Trump versus Adam Mockler political debate, but it's always funny to me that Republicans claim to be the party of family values, yet their de facto leader, Donald Trump, doesn't even know his own son's age, cheated on his wife with a porn star only a few months after his son was born, and then told that porn star, it's okay, my wife and I don't even sleep in the same bed. Beyond that, they advocate for policies that are antithetical to having a coherent family structure. They always talk about two-parent households, but in one breath they'll say that they want to ban all abortion, then the next breath they want to also ban preventative measures like teaching sex ed and ban contraception, which will only lead to more single-parent households if people can't get an abortion. They literally have no cohesive value structure. But in this next story, former presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy, who didn't just kiss Donald Trump's ring, he sucked the ring off of Trump's finger. He started a new podcast, and one of his first guests was Anne Coulter, and they were talking about race in America. And Anne Coulter made a joke about how she can call Vivek an intellectual because he is not a black American, and Vivek laughed at that joke, but then she turned her racism towards him and said, I also wouldn't vote for you because of your race, because you're Indian. And Vivek had to sit there and just eat that with this fake smile. I'll commentate over it, but first let's play this clip.
You are so bright and articulate, and I guess I can call you articulate since you're not an American black. Can't say that about them. That's derogatory. And that was a great opening segment. Lots of things to talk about there. Oh, and I agreed with many, many things you said during, in fact, probably more than most other candidates when you were running for president. But I still would not have voted for you because you're an Indian. We'll get back to that.
Absolutely brutal clip. Somebody named The Audacity on Twitter said his face when she uplifted him for not being an American black versus reminding him that he's still basically an American black to her because he's Indian. You can see the difference in Vivek Ramaswamy's face. And I think this perfectly encapsulates Vivek's grift. Now, I followed Vivek around the campaign trail in Iowa for a few weeks, and I will say he is a great public speaker. He's really good at speaking, but he also has no backbone. He's okay with giving in to these racist talking points. He's okay with people being racist to his face. Somebody even said something about his wife's butt, and he was just okay with it. Watch this clip.
she'll set a good example for children in this country.
Yeah. Simple,
Spread the message in this community.
Elegance. That's your wife.
That's right. You've seen her, yeah.
Simple elegance.
Thank you.
She doesn't have
She doesn't make a big production out of it.
She doesn't have an axe handles wide either.
No. She does her job. Exactly. Thank you.
If you couldn't parse it, that guy said your wife is simple and doesn't have an ass 6 axe handles wide that she shows off, whatever that means. And Vivek just smiled and patted his shoulder. He has no backbone whatsoever. I don't even think he believes this Russian propaganda he spreads about Ukraine. I asked him about his lack of support for Ukraine in person, and this is what he said.
So if you look at the history of Russia, one of their core strategies during wartime is to start wars, stop them when it serves their interest, then reignite them down the road. And we know that Vladimir Putin's a bad faith actor. He broke the Budapest Memorandum. So how are you going to ensure that down the road he doesn't reignite these wars and inch us closer to World War III?
Yeah, the world's a jungle. You don't find saints anywhere. So do I trust Vladimir Putin? Absolutely not. Is he a craven dictator? Absolutely he is. But can we bet on him following his self-interest just like he can bet on us following ours? Yes, we can. You know, follow up quickly and then we're going to wrap.
Yeah, really quickly. So one of Russia and China's shared goals is to destabilize the West. So what interest are you going to introduce to Putin to supersede that?
Yeah, so and this is a great question. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
21.
I appreciate 21-year-old guy asking smarter questions than most of the media about foreign policy. Most people aren't even paying attention to the Russia-China line, so I'm glad for that. You got to look for kinks in the armor, right? Putin actually doesn't enjoy being Xi Jinping's little brother right now. So we have to have the fortitude to be able to see that. We have to look through the prism of what advances the American interest. And the top priority is pull Russia apart from the Chinese military alliance, thereby reduce the risk of World War III.
Now, the point I was trying to make there is that Vivek thinks he can pull Russia and China apart and make Russia more friendly with the US by introducing some new interest to Vladimir Putin that will supersede Putin's hatred for the West, but that is just not how it works. There is nothing out there that can supersede this deeply ingrained hatred that Vladimir Putin has for Western countries. He thinks Western ideals are actually poison, and Vivek is naive for thinking that he can rewire that somehow. But to move on to our last topic, Charlie Kirk has been acknowledging more and more lately that he thinks Joe Biden has the slight upper hand in this election. And it still terrifies me that polls are neck and neck in certain swing states. But as Charlie Kirk says, Donald Trump has failed to open the necessary field offices in many of these swing states. And, I'll just let Charlie Kirk do the talking for me because he lists off all of the field offices Joe Biden has opened up. Remember, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, comment, a blue heart, subscribe, and let's play this clip.
Now, I don't know if that's a good thing. Republicans, we should constantly be worried. I'm very worried. I still give Joe Biden the slight advantage. We are struggling right now as a movement to open up the necessary field offices to compete against Joe Biden. But here are the numbers, and the numbers are worth reporting. In the state of Georgia, Joe Biden has 14 field offices. In the state of Pennsylvania, Joe Biden has 14 field offices. In the state of Michigan, Joe Biden has 20 field offices. In the state of Wisconsin, Joe Biden has 44 field offices. In the state of Arizona, Joe Biden has 8 field offices. In Nevada, Joe Biden has 2 field offices. Between all of them, Joe Biden has 450 full-time people on staff in 9 states, and all 9 out of 9 swing state directors. Now, based on all of our data, we do not believe Donald Trump has a single field office in any one of those states yet open. I'm sure they're trying to fix that. And he has 5 staffers. So Joe Biden has 450 people. We have 5, and 2 out of 9 of the swing state directors have been hired. Now, thankfully, we at Turning Point Action, we have well over 100 people now chasing ballots in Arizona, trying to close that gap. And that does not count Joe Biden's advertising advantage. It does not count his ability to control the mainstream media. I said this and people laughed. I said 6 months ago, Joe Biden is a formidable candidate, and people laughed. I said it's because of the infrastructure around him.